Well, every mother dreams of giving birth and nurturing a young one to a full-grown and healthy human being. This, however, might not come true for every mother due to various health challenges that may hamper a successful delivery and healthy upbringing.
Kama vile umetujulisha kwamba umeikuwa na mtoto ambaye ameikuwa na hiyo ugonjwa wa fistula, tungependa tuambie ya kwamba ni hii shida ulipata alikuwa na hii shida lini?
Ni msa 2013, mtoto alianza kulia bila msimamo. Kifika yani kama masaa kama hivi saa 11, mtoto analia mpaka asubuhi. Sasa ikafika wakati nimpeleka hospitali, kipimo, hakuna ugonjwa hapo mission. Hakuna ugonjwa, narudi na yeye nyumbani. Tena na akiendelea kusidi, nikampeleka tena chura na hakuna ugonjwa. Pesa isikanisia hapo, ngaona waje mtoto aendelee shule.
Awareness and vaccinations have been done for diseases such as measles, tuberculosis, malaria, polio, whooping cough, and tetanus, and other childhood ailments such as chronic diseases like croup and respiratory illnesses. Most of these are communicable diseases, and the government has directed more focus on them, forgetting that there are diseases which may not be communicable but cause harm and affect the health of a child. Fistula is one such disease.
So basically fistula is what we call a communication between two epithelial surfaces, whereby it means that if you have an epithelium is a lining of a system, for example the lining of the mouth or the gastrointestinal system, there's a lining of the genitourinary system. That is, so if you have communication, most of the common one which has been a lot in the media is what they call VVF, vesicovaginal fistula. So in terms of fistula, you can have two types. There are those we call congenital, which is like people are born with, and then there is acquired, which occur later on in life. So for example, congenital fistulae are going to be very common in children.
Fistula basically is just an abnormal communication between two body organs that are lined by epithelial surfaces. So generally in the development of human beings, organs are not supposed to be communicating unless it's mandatory. And then they have other ways of communicating besides the actual physical communication. So if there is an abnormal communication between two organs that is not supposed to be the way it is, then we term that as fistula.
There are 4 different types. 3 of them are so bad that if the mother of the child do not seek help early enough, then it leads to death of the child. Because what happens is basically breast milk gets into the lungs, so the child drowns in breast milk and leads to respiratory distress and the child succumbs.
For a very long time, fistula has been a disease presumed to affect only women. This, however, is contrary, as recent cases have shown that men and children have fallen victim of the disease.
In children, the most common fistula is called tracheoesophageal fistula. So tracheoesophageal fistula is basically a communication between the trachea and the esophagus. So there are different types, but mostly perianal fistula is an old age thing. Yeah? So in children, you find basically in neonates, you find most fistulas that occur more commonly tracheoesophageal fistulas, at least the ones that I've seen around.
We walked the streets of Kisumu and talked to sample residents and pedestrians on what they know about fistula, and many seem to have little knowledge about the illness.
Fistula ni ugonjwa ambayo kwa kina sana sana una affect akina mama, especially uterus. Fistula pia inaweza shika breeds, inaweza shika any part. Matiti unashindwa. Sasa na fistula ni ugonjwa haina kinga.
Niko naona wanawake wengine wanatoa ruku, wengine wanatutu, wengine yani choo zinatoka, but kwa najua jina ya hiyo. Years ago ndio nikajua hiyo maneno ya fistula. Nikajua mimi inaweza kuwa repaired, anaweza enda hospitali akapata matibabu.
Tungependa kujua ulikuwa hapo mbeleni ulikuwa unajua kwamba kuna hiyo ugonjwa wa fistula?
Mimi kusema ukweli sikuwa najua hiyo fistula ni ugonjwa gani. Ni ile yenye nilikuwa nasikianga hata ikitangazwa kwa radio, nasikianga ni kwa watu wakubwa wa mama ndio wanakuanga na hiyo shida. Vile nilipeleka mtoto wangu kufika huko ngambiwa ni hiyo, hata nilishangaa hiyo fistula mbona inakula mtoto mdogo na najua ni watu wakubwa.
In women, the known causes of fistula are infections, obstructed labor which is left unrelieved, or surgeries gone bad. In children, however, the causes of fistula may differ depending on the stage of development of the child.
So in terms of fistula, you can have two types. There are those we call congenital, which is like people are born with, and then there is acquired, which occur later on in life. So for example, congenital fistulae are going to be very common in children. The commonest are what we call, in terms of the structures develop, you have the trachea, which is part of the respiratory system. Then you have the esophagus, which is part of the gastrointestinal system. So sometimes you can have communication between those two, and that is what is called tracheoesophageal fistula. So one of the ways this one may present is that a newborn child, as the mother tries to breastfeed the child may be vomiting and not able to retain. That may make people think, oh, there could be a problem here. Some other time also you may have what we call anorectal malformations, where there is a deformity in the gastrointestinal system so that the anal opening will be blocked. That is anorectal malformation. In children also you can have fistulae arising as a result of assault. In this day and age there's been a lot of reports in the media about sex abuse in the children and all that. Young girls have been raped and all that. Because their genital system is not yet mature, you will get it that in case of assault, then there's going to be damage, so that you can have communication between the GIT, which is the rectal system, and the anus and the vaginal part. So the other thing is that for acquired type, you can have them as a result of surgeries, as a result of infections. For example, if you have typhoid, then you can have perforation in the gastrointestinal, in the stomach, so that when you have even perforation in the intestines, that will result in the intestinal contents being poured into the abdomen. So if somebody has had surgery for this, sometimes the part that was sutured can break, so that you have communication with the outside. That now is what is known as enterocutaneous fistula. Then other people also, if you've had cancer and then you've undergone radiotherapy, chemotherapy, sometimes can also end up with fistula arising.
There are various types of fistula that may affect children. However, there are other types of fistula that are common to both children and adults, such as anal fistula, according to a medical student in Maseno. Cultural practices like female genital mutilation and early marriages have played part.
Cultural practices, especially to the female, for the male and okay, although they're the ones who are affected mostly by fistulas, they are kind of safe after the period of childhood. For the females, there are some archaic practices. So, for example, in FGM, the region around the clitoris, it can be infected, so that there is a connection between the urethra, which passes urine from the bladder, and the vagina. So you find that a woman just passes urine unknowingly. We call that urinary incontinence as a result of fistula.
But are expectant mothers always made aware of the disease during their time-to-time clinical visits for antenatal care?
For the congenital ones, it also depends on information, good nutrition, and proper care. So that in terms of antenatal care for a baby who may be having a congenital malformation, during the antenatal care, if they go to hospitals, ultrasounds and regular checkup, it can always be picked that there is something the matter, and then people are prepared so that when the baby is born, then they can have the intervention which is required. Also for the women, if they go for antenatal care, they deliver under skilled attendants, then you are going to reduce obstructed labor, then the incidences of VVF and RVF are going to come down. As for cancers and the rest, also, if you do the diagnosis early and treatment, then that is how you can be able to address. So it's all about information. So
let's first start with the ANC, where antenatal care, because it's something that happens when somebody is still in the womb. So depending on whatever the supplements the lady takes during pregnancy, like right now we are advocating for folic acid and iron supplements. So folic acid and iron supplements are some of the things that can prevent, if I have to say that word.
Fistula may lead to personal, educational, social, and economic effects.
The personal effects of fistula are as I've quoted, the incontinence, fecal impaction. We can also have bleeding. Remember, fistulas, these are an infective process, yeah? We can have bleeding. And then bleeding, when somebody loses much blood, somebody can even die. So death is also a complication. The society, a society has been primed to think that whatever is not clean is not acceptable. And you know how messy the region in the anal region can be if a fistula has its effect. So people won't take the affected person positively. He or she will be stigmatized, and you know the effects of stigma. Somebody might have low self-esteem. It may even hinder a person from leading his or her normal life. Yeah. So on the educational aspect, remember, children of school-going age cannot even go to the school and attend their normal academic activities because the process first is painful, and the stigma, they are discriminated against. So such like problems are the effects of fistula. And then in the family now, the patient might even face neglect. If you've studied neglect in psychology, you'll find that there are various forms of neglect. There is health neglect. This child might not even be taken to hospital. He or she might suffer, not that he or she wants to suffer, but because the people who are supposed to take care of him or her cannot, because they have neglected him. The person might suffer physical neglect, whereby the security of the person is not guaranteed. So those are some of the effects of fistula.
The treatment of fistula may cause expenses incurred in the hospital, and these may cause economic alarms. Not every patient of fistula may afford to pay for this kind of treatment.
Hata mimi mwenyewe ngakuwa na stress. Hata nikifaa nguo, nikifaa kama nisikate na teremka tu, ngakuwa na stress. Bila mtoto alipatikana hiyo siku, tuliuza ng'ombe. Mtoto akatipiwa kapona.
Children may find it hard to keep up with school as they may incur challenges of segregation and being judged wrongly by their peers, which may lead to missing school, and this may be detrimental to their academic performances. Unlike other diseases, fistula treatment can only be done through surgery.
All fistulas are surgical. Treatments are surgical for all fistulas. There's none that I know of that is treated medically.
Time-to-time checkups are also advisable after a patient has been treated. The hospital has done quite a commendable job in ensuring fistula prevention is done and campaigned for, and the government should reinforce these efforts.
Currently, the government is also putting enough effort towards curbing fistulas. Most of the camps that you see are organized by the various health sectors falling under the umbrella of health in government. So the government is also trying, but I'll urge them to try more, because this is something preventable and treatable at last.
It is the role of the government to raise these concerns and sustain the well-being of its citizens as far as health is concerned. Health is an important entity in the pursuit of attaining the success of the Big Four agenda. A healthy nation means able citizens who can work and add on task forces and labor, hence a progressive economy. The government should therefore ensure that maximum awareness through media and individuals on fistula in children is done, making fistula treatment affordable to all, funding organizations which will be aimed at campaigns against fistula. The government should also create a friendly environment to enable organizations, research institutions, students, scholars, and media practitioners to carry more research and find more possible solutions for fistula in children.
Niliwaambia wasikae wafikirie hiyo maneno ya urogi. Watakia kipeleka watoto hospitali ndio iko na ukweli.
And for Trailblazers, this is Roger Sagan.